Hello, Andrea.
Hello, Marcel. Hi. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's very good to see you and welcome to this coaching session. It's always a joy. It's always wonderful to meet a person for the first time and have new horizons and see what the future holds for you and for us. And I'm looking forward to a wonderful conversation. Uh,
Great, thanks.
So maybe to start, so how have you been in this current COVID crisis, and what do you have in store for our conversation today?
In principle, I'm more or less okay. I'm quite lucky and happy to be healthy and everything is good. No family issues, so I'm fine. I think it is quite good. Just working from home all the time. I mean, the biggest complaint is that it's boring, but yeah, it could be much worse. So as such, I'm happy. Yes.
That's very good. Keep safe. Your safety is important, not only for you, for your kids, for your wife. So it's wonderful that
Yeah.
despite the
Thanks.
challenges of being locked indoors, but without help, then
True.
nothing else is done.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what would you like us to talk about today? What is on the table?
Well, I think I need your help a bit just to come to the point. So I give you an explanation. Let's see. So I, I have a problem with let's say connecting the work. It's my work one and just not being emotional connected, so to say. I give you an example. I have some work now into place where um, I need to do a kind of calculation, financial calculation,
Mhm.
and they want to have it very accurate. They really would like to have the complete figures. They really would like to just make an investment based on my numbers,
Mhm.
and I don't see that I'm at this moment in time can do it. I mean, I don't have all the information, and yeah, I feel pretty stressed about it that I cannot really give the data, and and I don't want that. There's so many things around, like considerations, assumptions, risks, potential blockers, and everything around this one. I think I will not be able to just be clear to put this in place for let's say for management to use this properly. So and I don't know, it's totally stressed me out. I don't know really what to do and how to do it.
Mm. Thank you very much for sharing. Certainly, the stress can come with all that, especially when you know. I would imagine that you see the importance of this request for them to have to do the financial calculations. Maybe to start, as you mentioned, you see you don't have enough information. You feel so stressed out. There are risks and assumptions. Um, and all this culminates in some emotional stress. That would be a right accurate description of how you are feeling, right?
Yeah, yes, in principle, yes, because at the end, the number I will take, the number I will provide, they will use.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
um, I completely understand, but what do you think could be the different options?
They want, I have no idea. They want a number, so I need to provide them a number. Um, it's my it's my task to get this in place. So
And
I cannot think about anything.
you work with some other people who might be helpful in this.
Mm. I mean,
let's put it this way. Let's say in your organization, you look at the people you work with. Who do you think could be? What do you think someone in your position or someone you admire, a role model? What could that person do if they were standing in your shoes?
I mean, let's say I would assume they would be able to take all the information and just provide a proper number based on the information in place, so that the decision is in a good, let's say that the decision is be able to take on a good basis.
Hmm. So, but do you think of someone? Do you have anyone in mind? And do you think there are some steps that person may take?
I mean, I had a person in my previous career, I mean, or position, like 7-8 years ago, where I think there was person was really good in presenting and just really good in doing these things. And I mean, every time he presented, it was very crisp and very clear. So there was there were no questions around. So, but yeah,
Very good.
I think the guy, I'm not able to help.
That's very good. So if you make a retrospective look, probably depending on how close you are, what do you think were some of the initiatives the person took to get to where the person reached, to be able to give the accounts of what was needed at the time?
I do believe somehow it's the same as I'm doing now. I'm just collecting all information. I'm collecting all the risks and assumptions and have everything there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I'm doing all the details of my job.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I'm just think that the number ever comes out has a risk factor, and I don't think that management is taking all the information consideration. They're just looking at the number.
Mm. So you actually already have done some work on this, which is very good. What do you think will be the advantages on focusing on the strengths or the outcome rather than only focusing on your stress?
If it helps me to get into the number, I mean, that would be okay.
Great, because in life, if you focus more on the negatives, you were drawn back. While if you look at some of the positives ahead of the things you can achieve, of course, knowing your own body and the limitations and balancing out, you will achieve much more. And there is a proverb that says, if I would rather have a wonderful spoon of honey, one small spoon of honey, rather than have a whole cup of vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
So what could be some of the positives or the advantages of you working hard, bearing in mind, of course, the needs of your body, but getting to the finish line?
I mean, I could all the assumptions and presentation stuff into the presentation, so that everything is available. I mean, at least they're just able to have it. So it's going to be pretty long though, so I think, I don't know if they would read a 30 page presentation if they want to have at the end have a number.
Good. So now you are mentioning another aspect of the length of the documents or even the presentations. What could be some of the best practices then to help you shorten this presentation?
I think that's the catch. I mean, I can take this out,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, how do they know the assumptions and the risks? I mean, beside of even shortening, so if I do a presentation with or without all these explanations,
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't believe really that the management has time to go through every detail where you say, okay, because of this risk, we have this kind of mitigation budget. Because of this one, there's maybe a 10%. Because of this one, there's maybe a 30%. So at the end, they will look at the number.
Mm-hmm.
And the number, I mean, it's impossible at this moment in time where I am in this project development that the number is accurate. It's just a guess. And I think everyone's guess is the same as mine. I mean, there are too many open variables.
Mm. So if I hear you correctly, you say that there are some assumptions already that they may not read the entire report. There are some assumptions that all they need is just to see the final report and the figures. But is that not an assumption? What do you think of that being an assumption of their assumptions? So how can we challenge your own assumption?
I agree, it's an assumptions,
Correct.
but considering the past experience and considering also that the presentation is like a 15-minute presentation, and everyone's calendar, everyone is very busy. So I'm not able to do this in 15 minutes. I cannot make 30 slides in 15 minutes. That's impossible. And the assumption is then to say, okay, even though that they are very busy, they will read my 30 slides. I mean, yeah, it's very hard already to get a 15-minute slot with all the people. So I mean, based on that, I think I agree it's an assumption, but I think it's a very valid statement that, yeah, as soon a meeting is finished, they just move to the next one. As soon they get the answer, they move to the next one. And the question is, how much money do we have to pay for that project? So, and if I give this answer, then they say tick, and they have an answer, even though, yeah, I think it's not accurate.
Let's look at this assumption, and if you are to challenge your own assumption, how likely would you be able to achieve to get to the end and result? So put aside their own assumptions that they probably all they need is only the end to see the final product. But if you are to challenge your own assumption of their assumption, how likely would you be able actually to be less stressed out and do the good job and finish it on time?
I mean, I'm able to finish it, so I can give a number, but again, the number is not correct. So it's the number is just an high level guess. And I'm not feeling comfortable that they're doing investment decision on such a high level guess. For this, it's far too early to get the number. Mm-hmm. So the assumption is not, it's not about that I assume I can have something or it's not correct. It's a fact that at this moment in time, we don't have enough input data. We have far too many open things. And as I said, I feel stressed that I give a number which at the end they will use, where we know that if it's not correct, they will come back to me and say, you gave us this number and this number is not correct. So what do you think? Why did you present this number?
I hear you, and probably it will be good to imagine yourself looking at some of the facts, some of the positives of this work, or considering some of the disadvantages, or different new ways one can achieve this. And as you speak, would one be correct to say that there are also some instincts or emotions attached to this work that and even as one hears your voice, would that be correct to say that there are some negative feelings about this?
Yes.
So if we were to develop an action plan, what do you think could be to help you be less stressed out? And what could be some of the action plans to take?
At the moment, for me, would be to get rid of this assignment, delay the presentation by, I I mean, 6 to 8 weeks to have something in place which is somehow accurate or somehow valuable, I would say. Or I would change job. I don't know.
So you have you have just outlined a number of action plans. Get rid of this report or delay it for 6 weeks, even so that in the end you have an accurate account. If you are to put them in terms of priority, which one would you, which would be the top priorities of action plans?
I mean, in order to provide a number, in order to provide a number which they would like to use or which is like accurate, I need 8 weeks more.
So that would be the top action plan. And maybe I would. How about putting this as a homework, something to reflect more about for our next session? So to see the possible ways you can either request for extension or other new ways of thinking, new perspectives that may come as the French have this proverb that says, La nuit porte conseil, the night give advice. So as one thinks slowly and more about this, maybe tomorrow, after tomorrow, we can fix another appointment and see what best plans or best strategies we can come up with. Will that be?
I think it would be good. I think just to think about and just recap again and just restart in the next session about this one. Yeah.
And at the same time, also take care of your health. So the level of stress, and finds ways of what best way of reducing the stress, something also to think about. Because if you are still stressed out, then probably even the end product, even our reflection may not be again productive. So that's something, another homework for our next session.
Perfect.
So, we will meet again next Tuesday.
Great.
At the same time for further conversation on this. Meanwhile, keep thinking about this and also take care of your health.
Great. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Marcel.
Wonderful,
Great.
Wonderful meeting you.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless you. Yeah. All right, so time for your feedback. Your colleagues, friends.
Yeah, what I can say is you were good creating the good relationship at the beginning and introducing yourself, trying to know exactly the situation of your client, if I can call him so. So that was good, just to establish a link before commencing your what we were supposed to do. So your coaching session. So that was a good introductory, and as well as the flow of questions, the way you twisted the questions. I found out that Andre response, he was not feeling confident on his own response on what to do, how he's going to do it, but you kind of insisted by changing the way of the same question but asking it differently and with another approach that brought him out to say what he thinks, though it took a lot of times to come out on that, but it was very good for your patience, asking him several questions in different ways just to give him more confidence and to give him the way of getting himself a good response on what to do, which I found very, very, very interesting and very, very good. And until at the end, though he was not quite sure what to do, but the ending was very good. Proposing another date, giving time to go and think about it, think about other options, as you said, la nuit porte conseil. so that will help him on the next session to come out with new ideas to kind of resolve this problem. Because listening to what he was saying or on to his response was showing that, as you said, a negative attitude and not confident that he could do the job. But the ending of the session made it come and believe on himself and thinking positively that he can come out with other option next time, which I found good. Overall, it was good. If I can say, it's on the development. I think you need to kind of check also on your time when you are asking questions. Go to direct questions so people can your client can kind of say exactly what he wants and how he can respond. Because if there's no time, though we can have 2 or 3 sessions, but you need to kind of give more confidence to your clients by pushing him on different questions on how to bring out options. But overall, it was good.
Thank you.
Should I go next?
Sure, Nicole.
Okay. So I completely agree with Vinch. So I'm not going to repeat what he just said because this was mostly my observation as well. I had, so at some point in the conversation, you said, in life, if you look at the negative, you draw back, and 1 spoon of honey is better than a cup of vinegar, which I thought they were great metaphors. But I was actually just thinking how, and I would really want to hear what Andre thought about those metaphors, because I think they're great, and I think you're making a really good point. But Andre paused after that. It was like literally a silence for about 3 seconds or so, and I wasn't sure how did that come back. So Andre, when you give your feedback, would you mind to reflect on that? Would be great, thanks. Because that I just felt that pause for a second, and I wasn't sure if it was intentional or it was just not knowing how to react those metaphors. What I really liked is that how you set up the next session. It's something that I also do a lot when I'm trying to do coaching as well, to get to the next session if you run out of time. So I think you set it up really nicely, and I think you get him committed to a next session, which was nice, because that's, I think, how you make sure that he's progressing. So I thought that was really good. But overall, I think it was great. I mean, you did, everything by the books, Marcel. You looked, you smiled, you nodded, you were like completely open, and, you did like, and I was thinking at some point that you really projected, that coach kind of behavior, but maybe because you're teaching, it maybe comes easy to you because you do this basically every day.
In this,
yeah,
I'm a novice.
yeah. So you have that sort of very confident aura, but and I think it was a great session. So yeah, only these metaphors that I was thinking, I just turned my head and I thought, okay, what was that? How would Andre feel about those? But yeah, thank you. It was a great session.
Thank you, Nicole. Don't be afraid to mention the negatives, so that they can help me as I reflect.
I don't think you committed any capital mistake, to be honest. I think you did really well. I really want to know what Andre has to say about those metaphors.
Yeah,
Okay.
you did really well. I agree with Nicole there. So I don't know because you're teaching, but you did well.
Thank you. Mustafa, are you still there, or Caroline?
Yes. Shall I go next? Can you hear me?
Sure.
Yeah. So overall, this session was really good. The building rapport was excellent, and asking good opening questions and summarizing and listening was very well. honestly, the topic, the client agenda was a bit difficult because it was, like limited with, deadline. Then, like he has 6 weeks to finish and he needs more, 8 weeks. So the client was a bit stuck in the middle of this deadline, and the coach was, like good initiative to ask him to show him the bigger picture. What do you want to achieve? What is the advantages? So it was really good assumption and challenging for the problem. Um, but yeah, definitely it needed another session. But there could be, like more questions. This is my opinion. More questions to help the client to come up with more options. I think the client was a bit stuck somewhere where he can't think other than, completing this financial accountancy and present it to the higher management. So like, like more questions to come up with more options that would be good. Yeah, but overall was good session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mustafa. I too, there's a point I felt I am almost getting stuck somewhere. Thank you. Caroline? Caroline, were you able to follow?
Seems to be not.
Okay, maybe let's listen to Andre.
Good. So I like the session. Actually, I had exactly the same coaching session. It's like I had a client exactly like that. The interesting part is, and I think it's a difficult part, depends on if you're familiar, of course, with this financial stuff, and like if you have this knowledge, then I think it is also a bit easier. So what I liked was principally the start. I think was very easy just to build the rapport and just to talk, and we have like the conversation was very fluent, was very good. For me, that was very good. There was a time, I think from a time perspective, we maybe was a bit too short because I got a bit like the 10 minutes thing indication was for me was very early. I think we were not so long. I don't know, but
I thought so too. Yeah.
Okay, because that was like already, and I have no reference because I think the discussion we just started. I think in the middle, from my perspective, you got stuck because the stuck one was that. So due to the fact that I had the same session, I just tried to explain it in a way that okay. I try to see, okay, can you get the options out of me? Like Mustafa said, it's like, okay, what else can you do? How else can you address this? And this is the part where I was saying, okay, that you could have been more challenging on the options for me, because they're thinking about the part where I have to deliver. There are many more options. The way you went for the assumptions, my first thought was, yeah, I mean, it's my boss. He gives me a deadline. So what should I say? Thank you, but no. No, I mean, this is the way. That was the same with the metaphor. So first of all, we have in German, we have the same. It's a complete different one, but exactly the same meaning. And the reason I was paused was like, okay, so I have something small. It's better than have the complete. So what is he asking me? Is he asking me to deliver something smaller but not complete? That was my doubt. I was thinking about, okay, if I'm not delivering everything, then I'm not doing what is asked for me. That was the part where I think like the metaphor didn't really make sense for me. I mean, in this context, because I understand the concept, but I think in this part I needed to deliver something. No, I like the part a lot. I think to say, okay, let's recap. Let's come back to it. Like the homework thing to restart again. I think that was a good way forward to get in place. To really just have a good ending, because the ending was then you realize that okay, we're coming to a kind of time issue. So let's have a good closed ending. I think that was very good. what else? I need to think about. I said the assumptions didn't really. I thought this was not. Personally, I felt like we lose a bit of time in the assumption ones because, yeah, I mean, it's management never has time. If they want to have something in 15 minutes, they want to have something in 15 minutes. I mean, well, I think that's the part. Yeah. And the other part was what I tried to get you on is I'm scared of giving the number because the number is not correct. Mm. That was my at least what I tried to explain. I'm scared to give a number which the number is not correct. And I thought to give you somehow the hint on if you know the number is not correct, why do you deliver the number? Or can you tell that the number is not 100% correct, or this kind of thing? So that there was, I thought like because I'm scared of the number, because it's not correct. That was the part where I thought maybe this is an anchor for you or a hook to get into, but it comes towards the options. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the complete flow was good, and I think the communication was good. I think the questioning was good. So for me, I think that's good. I mean, I think the struggle for you is like for everyone else of us. We don't do this so long, so we are not have a kind of 100 varieties of questions. I think that's what's missing for us. So, and at one point, I think that's obvious. But I think the flow and everything was good.
Thank you very much. Just two things. I used the metaphor when I realized I was getting stuck, actually, and I realized you. Maybe I was challenging my own assumptions or challenging your own assumptions.
Yes.
That you have an assumption that these guys are too demanding on you. So how do we challenge your assumption of them? So then I said, okay, let's look at the positive. Certainly, honey is sweeter than vinegar. So in coaching, you want to focus on the positives in many ways so that you are not just drawn on the negatives. So that's why I used the metaphor, but probably I should have explained it more.
And I think this was one thing, but you're right. So because for me, the metaphor we have in German, which is in principle the same, is about the bird in the hand or a bird on the roof. No, mm-hmm. It's like if you have something small, it's better than you have nothing, and the big thing is somewhere else. No, like really the small good thing. And what I was thinking of, I didn't really, or when you came with it, I needed to think about what is it. So you give me the second one. I cannot even remember. What was the French one again?
So, the French one was La nuit porte conseil. That means overnight you can rethink over some certain things.
Yes, exactly. Yes, good. True.
Yeah.
Correct. But what I was thinking about the metaphors, I think it is also very very how to say, important or cautious to see, okay, whom do we have in front, no? Mm-hmm. In order does the person understands it? Because it can be that from a cultural perspective or nationality or whatever, you say something and the other thing like, what do you want from me? No, I mean that was, I think, is something to consider. Always, because you don't really know. But I think, as I get the concept, but at this moment it was a bit. Yeah, I didn't think about anything sweet. I thought about people just screaming at me because I give the wrong number.
Yeah, I think next time is to explain it. My thing is maybe should the coach get a hint on what will be the topic? So if you know you are going to deal with issues of mathematics and so that the coach knows ahead of time what may be, you can even do some homework ahead of time. So you are taking into myself into mathematics, more into peace studies. So that's quite, yeah.
I don't really, I don't know how it is normally. I don't know for you. I said, if I have my coaching sessions, I never know what is coming. And I have exactly the feeling, it's like, if I would know what is coming, I would be much better prepared. But maybe that's maybe the preparation is exactly what you shouldn't do, because then you have your stick, maybe. I don't know.
You may put someone in a box.
Yeah.
It's open. Yeah.
Yes.
I see Caroline is back. Caroline, were you able to you can unmute yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, sorry I didn't follow all through. I just had like to do a hospital with my child, so I was on the road. I've just gotten to good network. Sorry about that. But I did catch some bits here and there. So I will say what I can. Yeah, the Andre's position was a bit tight, so it was not an easy. He wasn't a very easy client to help out. Marcel, I think, did his best to come up with a solution and try to come up with a challenging questions. I also caught the bit about where he was asking you, who is your role model? What did they do? I think he was trying to lead you in that space, although you didn't really go to mention who this person is, but he said something about the person being working well. That time they were very precise and concise. So I think he was trying to get you there, like, could you work like this person? What could you pick from this person? But I think you really didn't go there because you thought, I can't be like that person. But I think he was trying to get you there. So that was a good one. I just noticed that there were some parts where the silence spells, like the silence went on, that looked like, Marcel, you are a bit lost, like, what do I advise? Where do we go from here? And it wasn't that silence of helping Andre think about, because he had already said, I don't know. So I think there you are a bit lost on where do I go from here in the middle of the session. And there's need to, like, I think through it quickly or try to guide him through, because he's silent, you're silent, there's nothing that was going on. So those are the bits that I caught. I didn't get the beginning or the finish, but that's the feedback that I could give for now. Thanks.
Thank you. I think you got certainly. I must, to quote my own sources, the question, who is your role model? This came out just very recently in the email we got, the message we got. So because I was realizing you are getting stuck. So trying to imagine someone in your own shoes, what will they do? And I think, Caroline, you are correct. There is a time I just felt maybe it's better to keep quiet. But then the silence can also lead the client to being lost. Yeah, so but you are on spot, and I think this is why I actually came up with the metaphors, because I was trying to imagine, well, now I'm stuck. Let me come up with a metaphor.
Yeah, that's a good one, Caroline. I just didn't thought about it. For me personally, like, silence is not bad. Because I always think that silence is pretty good. And like, I'm living in Spain, so that people always talk, right? So, and the German and Spanish culture is a bit different. They always have to talk, and I'm very silent. And it depends on the situation that is good. In order to bridge this part is, what else? What else? And what else? And what else? Like this kind of great, very good idea. And what else? I mean, this is the normal thing, is like the 5 whys, no? You just, okay, one more, which buys you time. I think this is, I love the what else quite a lot, because it buys you time to think. Yes.
All right, so thank you very much. I think there is still a journey to make. So this certainly gives me something to. I have another session. I will see whether I should reflect on this one or another one. But I think this was a challenging one. So you gave me some.
What you're not familiar with, and I think that's the part which makes it I think really interesting. Like the freaking cook one. What I mean is a part one where if it's not your day-to-day business, you really need to focus on the question and not on what you already know about it. So I think it's good. Yes, helps us.
All right. So thank you very much. Please, may you all be safe. And we keep
All right.
we keep Vinci in our prayers.
Thank you. Thank you,
Perfect.
guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you
Oh,
very much.
yes.